Hey guys, Luna here, welcome back to another Skyrim Special Edition console mod video. The next couple of videos are going to be 5 brand new console mods as I have some stuff to do this week, and these ones are a bit quicker to make than the 6 new mods and the top 5 every day. So the way I will do it is both videos will be at least 2 PS4 mods and 3 Xbox mods. So that means Xbox users will get 10 mods instead of 11, which you usually get, and PS4 users will get 4 mods instead of 3, so it's not all bad. I could make separate videos, but it's a struggle right now to get 4 PS4 mods, let alone 5, so this way will be good for now. So guys, I managed to get 5 mods for us to look at, so let's jump straight into our first mod. Our first mod of the day is Hemlock Hall, a player home located just outside of Whiterun. On the outside it's nice looking, with good views, but there is not much here except for the stable. The house itself on the outside is actually quite small looking. However, head inside and you will be surprised at how large this place actually is. The entire house is open planned and it kind of reminds me of a warehouse in the setup. The house comes with everything you need in a player home, like cooking areas with a cooking pot, oven and loads of food storage, a large library for all your books, a bedroom with a bed, fireplace and even a bath inside there as well, a storage room with mannequins, chests and weapon racks for all of your stuff, an enchanting and crafting room with loads of space for storage, books, and also contains space for loads of ingredients, soul gems and plants. Finally, on the downstairs area is a full smithing area. Overall, this house is actually really nice. It does lack a bit of furniture and beds to make it into a proper home, but the layout and the space for all of your stuff is actually one of my favourite homes I've seen. Our next mod is a simple mod, but a very useful one for if you're playing a thief. Have you ever been annoyed by the fact that when you play as one of the best thieves in all of Skyrim, and maybe even Tamriel, you cannot even be sure that you can steal a coin from a delusional beggar and not get caught? Well, now with this mod, it increases the pickpocketing success rate from 90% to 100%. So now you don't have to count on luck every time you pickpocket someone, you're guaranteed success every time, making you a perfect thief in the game. Since I'm already a level 100 thief, I can't be sure if this works straight away, or whether this increases your skill to 100 instead of 90 when you're kind of a master thief, when you reach higher skills, so you guys can let me know. Our next mod is part of a series of tweak mods that make changes to the game that are much needed and make Skyrim just a bit more immersive and fun. I'm going to go over some of them in upcoming videos as I thought they were all really good. So starting off, we have RJ's food tweaks. Have you ever wondered when creating elaborate foods why you only get 1 bite? Why it is that when you kill a deer you only get 1 meal? Why can't you make butter or sugar? What if you wanted to be a skooma dealer? Well, worry no more, as this mod makes changes to the game that increase the number of servings of food created, as well as provide new recipes for everything from salt piles to moon sugar. So the mod does the following: all original and hearthfire food recipe modified to produce more servings per base ingredient. Now it's worthwhile to actually make food. New food recipes have been added and you require the hearthfire oven in order to craft some of them. So salt piles, jug of milk, butter, eider cheese wheel, moon sugar, which you can only craft if you're a Khajiit, and skooma, which you can only create if you combine this with another mod, which is RJ's crafting tweaks, which I'm going to go over in the next video, because you need to be able to craft empty bottles. You also get a new item recipe called moon sugar platter, which you can create at a forge. Again, you have to be a Khajiit. A nice mod that doesn't change a lot, but makes the game more immersive, and as I said, more of these mods I will showcase, as they work really well together just to bring some more immersiveness and fun into the game, and I will showcase those in future videos. Our next mod is another simple mod, but it makes some big changes. The author made this over 3 years that makes changes to loads of clothing and armors in the game to make them skimpier. If you think your character is simply just too overdressed, well don't worry, they certainly are not going to be anymore with this mod enabled. Not so much a good mod for anyone playing an immersive playthrough, as these armors are not protecting much, but if you don't care about that, then check out this mod for yourself. There are really only a few armors left in the game that this mod doesn't cover, so any type of clothing or armor is now cut way down, so it's way more revealing. You have to have the Seraphim body replacer installed already in order for these to work. Our final mod for the video, well it's actually 2 mods, is better Dragon Priest staffs and better Dragon Priest masks. Aim of the mod is to make changes to the staffs and masks in order to make them better, stronger and more unique. So the mod makes the following changes: added named Dragon Priest staffs to each named priest, also made bug fixes to some of the staffs as well. Finally, all of the staffs have been made more powerful, so they do more damage than regular staffs. So let's take a look at the staffs first and then we can go over the masks. Azadal's staff, a blast of fire that does 80 points of damage now. Dukan's staff, a freezing whirlwind that does 60 points of frost damage per second to health and stamina. Hevnorak's staff, target is surrounded by poison that does 25 points of damage to health and stamina per second over 5 seconds. Krosa's staff, targets that fail to resist are paralyzed for 15 seconds. Nakrin's staff, a fiery explosion for 50 points of damage in a 15-foot radius. Otar the Mad staff, creature and people up to level 40 will attack anyone nearby for 60 seconds. Ragot's Staff, creatures and people up to level 35 flee from combat. Staff of Magnus, Morokai, absorb 50 magicka and 25 health per second. It now does both at the same time and actually restores your health and magicka now as well. Vulcan's Staff, target is invisible for 60 seconds. Activating an object or attacking will break this spell. And yes, you can make other people and creatures invisible with the staff as well. Volsung's Staff, powerful summoned Daedra creatures are sent back to oblivion. Zakritos' Staff, target takes 75 points of shock damage per second to health and half that to magicka. So those are all the changes to the staffs. Let's take a look at the dragon masks. Each of the dragon masks has now been given a name as well. Each of the masks have also been given a name in order to make them more unique. They've also had their armor type tweaked in order to be more relevant to the type of mask they are. So starting with Hemlock, that is now called Brutality. It's considered heavy armor, and it does 30% of attack damage is reflected back at the enemy, and it has 25% resistance to magic and 100% resistance to disease. Crosis is now called Sorrow, and it's a light armor. Poisons applied to weapons last for twice as many hits. You can now draw your bow 30% faster, and bows do 25% more damage. Morokai is now called Glorious, and it's considered clothing. Protection spells like Stone Flash are 3 times as stronger, if not winning the armor. Alteration spells have 50% greater duration, and magicka regenerates 100% faster. Nakreen, Vengeance, this is also considered clothing. Absorb 30% of the magicka of any spells that you hit. Increase your magicka by 50 points, and destruction spells cost 25% less to cast. Otar the Mad, clothing. Frenzy spells work on higher level opponents. Illusion spells work on undead, Daedra, and automatons, and illusion spells cost 25% less to cast. Ragot, Anger, which is now considered heavy, can do one-handed, two-handed power attacks while sprinting that does double critical hit damage. Stamina regenerates 100% faster, so that's a really cool one. Vulcan is now called Shadow, and it's a light armor. Crouching stops combat for a moment and forces distant opponents to search for a target. Sneak attacks with daggers now do a total of 15 times normal damage, and Muffle is now 50%. Volsung is now called Horror, and it's considered clothing. Reanimated undead have 100 points more health. Conjured Atronachs are now 50% more powerful. Conjuration spells cost 25% less to cast. Azadal, Bitter Destroyer, which is now considered clothing, increase fire resistance from 50% and fire spell damage by 25%. Activates a flame cloak during combat that deals 5 damage per second to enemies in melee range. Dukan is now called Dishonor, and it's clothing. Increases frost resistance by 50% and frost spell damage by 25%, and it conjures a frost cloak during combat. Zakritos is now called Swordblood, and it's considered clothing. Increases shock resistance by 50% and shock spell damage by 25%, and this one conjures a shock cloak during combat, so you can choose which one you want. Mirak, the Dragon Slayer, is now considered clothing. 30% increase to weapon damage against dragons. Time between shouts is now reduced by 20%. And finally, the Konarek mask is now called Warlord, and it's a heavy type, and this one is unchanged due to the fact it was already a pretty good mask. So guys, there was a lot of information in that final one, but I think these changes to the Dragon Priest staffs and masks are really cool, as they make you way more powerful now with them equipped. The Dragon Priests themselves are quite unique in the game, and so you would expect them to have some better and more powerful armor and weapons, and now they do, and you can equip them for yourself so you can become even more powerful with them equipped. Well guys, there we have it, 5 brand new console mods for Skyrim Special Edition on Xbox One and PS4. As always guys, if you enjoyed the video, like, comment and subscribe. I will see you all later today for another Skyrim Special Edition video. See all of you guys then.